you nearer to me with harmony, ecstasy, fantasy. Stay and give me the love I pray for. For your love, for your love. I would catch the falling stars, everyone singing love. For you I would fly to Mars. For your love, for your love, for your love. For your love, for your love. I would brave the raging storm, everyone singing love. I would keep the winter warm. For your love, for your love, for your love. For love, I'd play the waiting game for my own salvation. The mention of your name can be my inspiration. I feel a new sensation when I am with you. I'll sail the seven seas just to have you near me with harmony, ecstasy, fantasy. Stay and give me the love I pray for. For your love, for your love. I would catch the falling stars, everyone singing love. For you I would fly to Mars. For your love, for your love, for your love. For your love, for your love. I would catch the falling stars, everyone singing love. For you I would fly to Mars. For your love, for your love. I would brave the raging storm, everyone singing love. I would keep the winter warm. For your love.
The moment has arrived. In just 2 minutes from now, we will have a new Miss World. I'd like to introduce you to the presenter of the prizes. Here she is, Mrs. Julia Morley. And of course, to make the final announcements, I hand you over to a man who is as much a legend as the contest he created 27 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eric D. Morley.
Well, I suppose it's only right with an international panel, but actually they picked 5 different winners and we had to have a revote. I'm going to announce the results in reverse order. 5th, Miss Spain.
Gloria Valenciano steps up to pick up a prize of £250 and a silver trophy. Miss Spain.
4th, Miss Mexico.
£500 and a silver trophy to Martha Eugenia Ortiz Gamez. Looks nice to go.
3rd, Miss Australia.
There she is, stepping up to receive her prize of £1,000. Miss Australia, Denise Ellen Coward.
Runner-up to Miss World is Miss Sweden.
So now we know. 3rd, Miss Sweden, Ossi Margareta Karlsson. And for being third, she gets a check for £2,000.
And Miss World 1978 is Miss Argentina.
Woo! Silvana Suarez. she receives a prize of £5,000 and £15,000 worth of contracts for work. Miss Argentine. I think she's very surprised. She did not expect to be Miss World 1978. A very emotional moment. Tears, emotion, all the ingredients of a Miss World contest. And those tears are genuine. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Argentina is Miss World 1978.
Welcome again to the television show about television, the medium in which old formats never die. They merely fade to black and come back again with a new title sequence. One format was banished to the satellites for so long that it looked like never returning to Earth. Perhaps we were crazy to miss it, but some of us, older men mainly, did miss it very much.
Ultimate ambition is to be an actress. You do a lot of work for charity, don't you? I've always loved old people.
I shall announce the results in reverse order.
all started with the first Miss World shows. Later on, the feminists told us that the whole idea was a woman-degrading meat market, and there was never anything innocent about it. But what could have been more innocent than all those young ladies with no problem on their minds except the constant strain of holding up their hairstyles without using their hands?
They have to T-U-R-N. Now, I'm not going to say the word because some of them don't speak English and they might do it before their time. And I wouldn't want them to do that. So, girls, are you ready? Turn. Beautiful. Once more with feeling. Turn.
Later on, we'll see how Miss World developed into something a lot glossier. But straight away, the people who ran television realized that a beauty pageant didn't have to be global, with all the expenses of flying in the contestants and putting them up in real hotels with carpets. The girls, as they were unblushingly called, could all be local. All you had to do was put them in a low-budget, semi-glamorous setting and pray that it wouldn't rain.
We're going to see all 26 girls right now enjoying themselves in various locations around this vast, great pleasure beach here in Blackpool.
Number 8, coming around the corner of the gun turret, is Cheryl Lockett. Auburn hair, green eyes, and do mind that gun barrel, Cheryl.
In a sunny glade in Sherwood Forest, you'll find Jacqueline Triggs, who is Miss Barnett.
Early on, the beauty pageant prize money was scarcely life-transforming, but it went up as the years rolled by, and sometimes more was being offered than just cash. Winning would be a magic ticket to a more luxurious life.
She'll get a cheque for £250 and she'll have a complete wardrobe of pure new wool clothes.
So, the winner gets the title. She also gets a cheque for £300, an all-wool wardrobe.
The prizes are fantastic. The winning girl will, in fact, get a cheque for £500. She'll have a luxury holiday in Greece. She'll have £200 worth of all-wool fashion.
She stands to win a cheque for £500, a sovereign holiday by BEA for 2, and £100 worth of goods from the International Wool Secretariat.
You'll have the use of a car and a fur coat.
Use of a car didn't sound quite so dazzling as actually being given a car, but use of a fur coat could have come in handy during the highlight of every British beauty pageant, the swimsuit section, in which the girls were not only dressed in defiance of the prevailing climate, for reasons that baffled science, they usually wore high heels as well.
Jane is 18, 5'6" tall, and is a bank secretary. And at 36, 24, 36, no complaints from the auditors about her figures.
Miss Southampton is Julianne Core, and core was what the camera meant for her to say when she walked in just then. Miss Karen stands 5'7" tall. Fortunately, the sides of the swimsuit have fallen off.
34, 22, 34.
34, 24, 36, 37, 25, 37. She measures the same, exactly upside down.
Although some of the girls entered every contest on the calendar, none of them were really professional performers, so they had nerves to cope with. But it wasn't easy on the male presenter either. In big budget Miss World, if Miss Uruguay took the wrong turning and stepped into the bass drum, they could afford a crane to get her out. But when Miss TV Times had a technical problem, David Hamilton had to sort it out right there on the air. The result was an epic.
Congratulations. Oh, lovely. And who better to crown this year's winner than the retiring queen, Miss TV Times from last year, Linda Ann Thomas. So I should have come around the other side of you. I'm not very good at sashing. They don't call me Sasha Hamilton for nothing, you know. So I take the flowers. In the meantime, folks, I don't think we're ever going to get that right. I wanted to know who started all this anyway. Well done.
And the hero and heroine of the great Miss TV Times sash struggle are here tonight, David Hamilton and Zoe Spink. David, were those sashes really that difficult to get on?
I think after that, actually, Clive, they sent me off on a sashing course. I later on learnt that the technique is that it has to be under the left arm and over the right shoulder.
Oh,
Once
right.
you'd mastered that, you were OK.
Well, Zoe, you were the sash winner. I suppose you got the hang of it eventually, huh?
Well, I did try to help him. Usually the tiara causes the problem, not the sash.
You were the presenter of Miss TV Times for several years. Did you look forward to presenting it?
Well, with some trepidation, because one of the things that I remember was that the girls were all very tall. And not only were they very tall, but they had very high heels, usually white stilettos. So they were, I would say, on average, about half a foot taller than me. So I spent my entire time talking to their boobs. And I actually got paid for it as well, so it was... And
what did their boobs say to you, David? Thank you very much, David Hamilton and Zoe Spink. It was realised early on that the beauty pageant would look less like a meat market if the girls could be shown to have brains as well as beauty. Once again, the male presenters carried the can, self-sacrificingly plying the contestants with questions so stunningly banal that any answer at all counted as a sign of genius.
Now tell me, supposing a spaceship landed and a little green-headed fella popped out and asked what you like best about Europe, what would you say?
Well, first of all, I'd like to meet the little green fellow.
You would you? You're going to have him making dolls. What sort of dolls do you make?
Rag dolls and toy dolls. It's, I do it more or less for charity because I make the dolls and give them to charity.
What about your other hobby?
I like painting, where I paint anything. I do a little bit of cheating because I do painting by numbers.
Do you?
Yeah.
Carol, you like sabre fighting? Well,
Yes, I do, actually.
That's rather dangerous, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I used to do it when I left drama school, and
Yes.
then after that, I, decided not to do it anymore.
So you've
Because
got
I was more or less murdering everybody.
Were you really?
Yes.
My goodness me, that is a bit violent, isn't
Yes,
it?
I know.
And with us tonight, but presumably without her sabre, Carol Craig, now Carol James. Do you still keep that sabre sharp?
No, I don't. I never did it in my life, actually.
What?
No, it was all a load of lies.
So whose idea was it? Did they
I
tell
just
you?
made it up as I went along.
Thank you very much, Carol James. But feminism was on the way. Nobody in the shows, not even the contestants, realized at the time that it would eventually drive the whole thing off mainstream television and into the satellite backwaters. But the hipper male presenters could occasionally be heard acknowledging that somewhere out there on the ragged edge of extreme opinion, objections had been raised.
Janet, hello.
Hello.
It's lovely to stand here with all the criticisms we hear of these kind of programs to say to a girl, Janet obtained 8 O-levels at school.
Now, a lot of people say these sort of competitions are degrading, that ladies shouldn't parade themselves like this in public. What do you say?
No, I don't. I think they're very good fun and they're good experience for
Smash.
girls.
Jill, I see you don't consider yourself a woman's liberal. Why not?
There's one answer to that. I just love being a girl.
Well, Jill, we love you being a girl too.
Had the worm of doubt already started to gnaw at the woodwork? It didn't look that way, but just occasionally we were given a hint of what the girls might do to a male presenter if he were in their power instead of they in his. As we glide smoothly towards part 2 of this program, it's almost as if Pete Murray can sense his fate.
There's been quite a coincidence here. All the girls were given a questionnaire, every single one of them, and the question was, in the questionnaire, what is the thing you most like to do in all the world? And
This world was getting bigger still. Every year the budget topped last year's to provide a spectacle that combined a Hollywood musical minus the talent with military maneuvers minus the guns.
From north, south, east and west, they've come in search of the most coveted crown in the world of beauty.
A lot of people, of course, like to complain a little bit about this program. They sort of knock the program a bit, criticize it a little bit. I don't know really what's wrong with them. What more could you ask for? Standing here or sitting at home watching beautiful girls parading. If you'd rather talk about the energy strike or the fact they haven't got any coal in the grate, well, that's up to you.
Savannah Suarez, 19 years old. Not only beautiful, but quite clever, too.
She hopes to see the changing of the guards. I'm sure the guards would like to see her changed too. Number 22 is Cross. 5 feet 11 inches tall. She's going to be a big girl when she grows up, this one. 37 and 25, 37.
We're looking now at 5 feet 7 inches. And it starts with 35, going down nicely to 24, and rounding off with 35. Joelle Apollon, who's 20 and a student. Joelle, you speak beautiful English, don't you?
No, a little bit.
Only a little bit? Let's have a little bit of English. How do you like being here in London?
What?
What's your, since I'm looking at you so beautiful, what's your favorite food?
All kind of meat.
Do you like London?
Very much. Very much.
Very much.
Yes.
Have you seen a lot of London while you've been here?
What?
Basic to the Miss World format were interludes, during which the viewers at home could either sit watching open-mouthed with astonishment or else discuss whether Miss Venezuela could still win after falling downstairs and flattening Miss Puerto Rico. These interludes were the hugely expensive production numbers.
Tonight, from all over the world, yes, all over the world, the whole wide world is waiting, waiting, waiting. Tonight, after today, nothing will be the way it was. After today, nothing will be the way it was. I thought about you.
If the United Nations had looked like the Miss World contest, we would have watched it all day. And if the United Nations had sounded like Miss World, all the interpreters on Earth would have had a job. They hadn't been interpreting like it since the Americans and the North Koreans took 6 months to negotiate their first coffee break at Pyongyang.
Stacey, can you ask Nini, first of all, if they have many earthquakes in her part of the world?
Se tiene muchos terremotos en Colombia.
Bueno, no precisamente terremotos, pero Colombia se presta mucho a movimientos sísmicos, puesto que el relieve es un poco variable.
Not many.
And once a year, at the end of the show, up there on your television screen and available nowhere else, there was a miracle. Scores of beautiful women of different nationalities, all crying with happiness because they had lost, while the woman who won cried with even greater happiness because she had such friends whose good wishes would support her in a mission of peace and love.
And Miss World 1975 is Miss Puerto Rico.
Incredible sensation here at the Albert Hall. Wilnelia Merced, 18 years old, absolute pandemonium breaking out there. She's overcome with emotion.
Miss Sweden, Miss World.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Argentina is Miss World 1978.
And with us tonight are 2 Miss World winners and 1 who lost. Melanie Abdoun, you were Miss UK, but you were pipped at the post for Miss World. How did you manage that smile of happiness when you lost?
I think, Clive, it's not really the moment to be causing a tantrum on stage about the fact that you haven't actually won. You spend a hard time working a month with a lot of other girls, and by then you've made a lot of friends and stuff. But you know that once you get to the final part of the show, if you know you're not in the top 10 or the top 5, you sort of come to terms with that at that point.
Leslie Langley, did winning Miss World change your life forever?
No, I changed it in a small way, as much as I met my husband-to-be, and I got involved in the music business, which for me was a much more real, down-to-earth world I enjoyed.
Do you have any regrets about having done it?
Not at all, no.
Rita Ferrier, I know the other girls won't mind me saying this, but you're the one that stuck in my mind more than anybody because you had this most amazing academic qualifications. What was a girl like you doing in a beauty contest?
Well, India was sending their first contestant that year, in 1966, to the Miss World competition. And I was finally a medical student at the time and decided to enter it as a joke in college. And it was a joke that in 2 months I'd won the Miss Bombay, Miss India and Miss World. So it was a joke that went a little bit too far for me. But I must say it was a very positive experience, and I was happy to return to my medical studies after I completed my year as Miss World. So it didn't really change too many things for me.
Can I ask all three of you, knowing what you know now, in the same circumstances, would you do it again?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, there are some things you only do once in life, and that's it.
That is one of them, definitely. No.
Well, Miss Worlds and almost Miss World, thank you very much. An intelligent man mixed up in the beauty pageant business must have been in two minds at the very least. Yet the most intelligent man of them all either went on volunteering for the job, or else he had a brave way of smiling when they sent him on at gunpoint.
Now, if any of these girls appear to you at home to have short, fat, hairy legs, then I suggest you get your set adjusted because, believe me, they're all very beautiful indeed.
Would you come a little closer? It's quite safe.
Where do you live in Italy? Dove abita in Italia?
A Treviso.
A Treviso. This is North Italy. It is, I can tell you, yeah. What about the world inflation problem? Are you interested in that?
Well, no.
Good evening and welcome to this, the 24th Miss World contest, which means that the original Miss World must be a poor old thing in her mid-40s by now. Wonder where she is.
Was he ruthlessly exploiting women? Was he secretly setting the whole thing up rotten? Let's ask him. From England, a suave 43, 32, 41, it's Michael Aspel. Michael, did you enjoy just then looking back at those heady days and all those glamorous outfits?
I look back on it, as everyone else you've talked to tonight, with a strange mixture of affection and fear and regret and other things.
It wasn't always as glamorous as Miss World, was it? How about the local contests?
The most dangerous thing in the world, if you're involved in the beauty business in any way, the most dangerous thing is to be a judge, particularly on a small level at a village fete, because I've been through that many times, and mothers are more vicious there than any mother. It's like the beautiful baby contest. I went to a village fete once, and I declared it open, and then the vicar's wife and the headmaster and I judged this competition. 6 girls, quite pretty, 15 shillings top prize. We gave this girl the prize, and I was attacked by the mother of one of the girls. She hit me with her umbrella, said, "You've got no bloody taste in women."
As a presenter of Miss World, you were thought of at the time as the luckiest man in the country. Did you look forward to presenting the shows from that aspect, as it were?
No, everyone thought it was a riot of lust, and one just had the pick of all these girls. It was the most decorous business, and they were very strictly chaperoned from start to finish. But there was one remarkable girl, I think, I won't say which country she's from, it was Sierra Leone, and she was an extraordinary girl, and she came late to the competition. I had to see her and ask the details of her background and interests, etc. And she was extraordinary. She just looked at me and she said, "You've got a nice voice." And I said, "Oh, thank you." And she said, "How old are you?" And I said, 34, a long time ago. And she said, "But you are still a lion who roars."
It doesn't really seem to look at like a show where physical danger was involved.
There was no physical danger for the girls because they were very well looked after, but there was physical danger for people involved in the hustle and the rush afterwards. And there was one wonderful occasion where the set had been designed with gauze, thin gauze lining 5-foot drops all over the set. And when they said, "Miss World 19 whatever," the photographers were unleashed. And they rushed across the set, and this gauze just gave way, and about 20 of them fell into this 5-foot gap. One of them broke his leg. It was